I think I'm really starting to feel the positive effects that simplicity is having on my life, right? Now, in the last 6 months, I've been trying to transition into a more, I don't know, minimal lifestyle in terms of buying things, owning things, taking ownership of things, wanting things. And I think I'm finally starting to see the positive effects of that. So in my process of trying to own less, I started this list. If there was something I really felt like I needed, I'd add it to this list. I felt like then it would take it out of my mind, so it wasn't at the forefront. I didn't feel like I've got to buy this just to get it out of my mind. So I pop it down on the list and just give it a few days and come back to it and see if I still even wanted it that much or felt like I needed it. And most of the time, I generally felt like I didn't. Things like t-shirts, plastic-free shoes, climbing gear, camera gear, notebooks, walking gear, trainers, sports gear in general. Then after a while, it would become obsolete and I end up taking it off the list. I reckon it's helped popping things down on the list. It takes away that impulse level buying. Maybe sometimes we buy things because we worry we might forget that we need them. Which is an interesting thought. It makes me wonder if I ever needed any of it. And most of the time, I didn't even want it anymore. I think over a short period of time I must have lowered the levels of the part of my mind that wanted things and realised the positive effects of what owning less was having on my well-being. Some of the most weighted down I've felt in a while was last week when I was buying a new camera. With the camera I got caught up in the excitement and rush of wanting to get it done and ordered as quickly as possible. In those moments of excitement, I couldn't help but wonder if I genuinely needed the camera, if I was just persuading myself that it was the right thing to do, and if my judgment had been tainted at all by getting caught up in buying things again. I suppose I felt like I was losing the control of all that simplicity that I've been building up by not having things and not adding to the things I already had. The truth is, it wasn't on a whim. I've been researching cameras for ages and the money was in place, everything was sorted. I justified buying it on every level and I knew I needed it. The thing is, I genuinely feel like everything we buy and own, we place a tiny piece of ourselves in it and we become more and more scattered, like the Horcruxes in Harry Potter. Think of a hoarder and how they struggle so much to come to terms with letting go of things. They have this issue, it's just intensified, believing that the things they own are a part of them. What a book. I used to feel a little incomplete, that it was a bit of a duty to buy all the things I thought I needed so that I felt like I completed that area, and in doing that it would make me feel more complete and whole. But it wouldn't end, and I don't think it can end. There's no way of buying yourself to completeness. There'll always be about 5 things that you're gonna feel like you need at any one time. And I realise now that the feeling of incompleteness, it didn't come from the feeling of not having, it came from the feeling of wanting more. And the only way to stop the feeling of wanting is to stop feeding the wanting. You know that amazing feeling when you've had a good clear out and you're feeling light and creative and like you can take new things on. But then with that space you've created, it tends to be filled up again with new things. It might not be the next week, but after a period of time, slowly but surely that space you've created will just become not space again. It will become cluttered with things, albeit new things. And that feeling of lightness and excellence that you've created by clearing things up or clearing things out, it just becomes bogged down again. We seem to use the space and the room available to us. I'm trying more now to just have space instead of things. Buying things can be a feeling that stays around, but it just adds burden, whereas space adds simplicity. And that's not an up and down feeling, that's a, if you maintain it, here to stay kind of feeling. But it becomes a part of you, that feeling of space and peace. It's amazing when you stop adding to things, the amount you realise you've already got. I think that's one of the greatest take homes of not buying and adding. You just open up a whole new realm of realising what you already have, the amount of things you already have, the amount of things that you can use and reuse to finally actually get through. With clothes, if I haven't worn it for a year, you gotta seriously start looking at that and thinking, why am I holding on to you? What is keeping me holding on to you? Does anyone want anything? Could give you it's looking good. Pair of warm socks. It's still a really early stage for me at the moment, but I suppose it's me moving into a phase of minimalism. I wouldn't call myself a minimalist yet because I just feel like I still own so much stuff. It's difficult because you don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to throw anything out. And while I still own so many things, I feel like I haven't reached the optimum level of simplicity yet, which is exciting. I love the idea of not adding to my collection of things so that I can become more simple. I've got to say thank you so much for watching, and you got to subscribe as well. Subscribe to the channel, click the little bell so you get updates, and give us a like, and I'll see you super soon, like really soon, with some more videos. Take care, bye bye.